All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the Achiam and to the elect that are scattered across the four corners of this earth, pushing this truth and faith in all sincerity. I'm the brother Shema Allah from the GMS Houston camp. This lesson is going to be entitled, What is your why? Because there are many things that we will suffer, in the times to come. But even, day by day, we're going to suffer things. We're going to have to sacrifice things. We're going to have to, put off things that we might, care about. Right? Sacrifice things that we might care about. Stop talking to, certain family members, that we might love, right? But, they're not good company. It's a lot of things, that we gonna go through day in and day out, for this truth and for Yahweh Shah. And, like I did a previous lesson on this, all about your mindset in these situations. But it's like when you are catching hell, the hell should not be the main focus that you focusing on, but why am I going through this? All right. As far as, you know, what's the end goal? Like, what's the driving force for you to endure that? Because we're not just suffering just to suffer. This is all for a reason, right? We are trying to, get the kingdom, right? We are trying to experience those new bodies, experience everlasting life, reign with the Yahweh Shai, right? Live forever, with our families, right? That, our children and all the people that are brought back as well. All right, we fighting, for something greater. So when you are suffering, those things, should be on your mind. Even like certain actions that you take, right? You're gonna need faith to do these things. And the faith, all right, goes hand in hand, with your why. Because you gotta have strong faith, a strong, solid foundation, that strong belief to even continue to push, even though you are going through affliction. Right. So so I'm gonna start here in Hebrews the 11th chapter. All right, try to breeze through this. Going into the great examples of faith, from our forefathers, right, and the mindset, that they had, and the things that they did, we can learn from it and implement it in our walk, right? Because we're gonna be in times like never before. Right, so you're gonna be put in situations to where, as this is being, these things that we're gonna read about, Hebrews the 11th chapter, right? You're gonna be put in, similar situations, right? As far as having to show faith in a great way, right? And if you're the elect, it's gonna be talked about in the kingdom. So Romans 15:4 speaks about the things that are written aforetime were written for our learning. Right, so you got to look to these things and learn from it. Right, soak up all of this game, that's being showed us in these scriptures to prepare us for the days that are coming. Right, but this is Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Right, so we believe in things that we cannot see as yet. Right, we're hoping for things to happen, right, which we know it will happen, but it will be, at an appointed time, whatever the Lord has set up, right? Because we don't know his timeline. All we can do is just pay attention to the prophecies. It says, "For the elders obtained a good report. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith, Abel offered unto the Most High more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, the Most High testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. So Abel offered a better sacrifice than his brother Cain. So they both had completely two different mindsets, in serving the Lord. Right? Abel has faith, and he was obedient unto the Heavenly Father, right? And basically fear, drives that obedience. But you see, Cain really didn't have that same type of faith, right, or fear of the Heavenly Father, from certain actions that he took. Right? But it said he obtained witness that he was righteous, the Most High testifying of his gifts. All right, so the Most High did something to, verify or to put that, that stamp or that approval of Abel's sacrifice, right? And whatever it was, the Most High, the Most High pissed Cain off. Right? You see? Well, that act pissed off Cain. Let's just say it that way. And that he was envious of his brother, and he ultimately killed him. All right. But you see, Abel had great faith, and that happened way in Genesis. And you see, Paul is speaking about this in Hebrews the 11th chapter. All right. So it said, by faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death. Right. And we know that Enoch was taken up by the Heavenly Father in a chariot, which today is known as a UFO. Right. He didn't die. The Most High just came and took him. Right. By his faith. It says it was not found because the Most High had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased the Most High. So Enoch was going hard to where the Most High was like, bro, I'm about to just come get him, bro. Nah, he had enough. He too good for the earth, bro. I mean, let me get him. All right, by his faith, he had a why. All right, you better believe it. It says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is the rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So you got to come to the Most High with faith. You can't come to him with that wishy-washy shit. All right. You got to believe in his word. You got to believe in the things that he say. All right. Because never in the scriptures has the Most High ever told a lie. Scriptures speak about that the Most High is not a man he should lie. So not believing in his word, how you think the Most High will feel about that? And why you think he should do anything for you? That's like if you got a relationship, right, with a certain brother, and you always came through for him, all right, but you tell him you gonna come through for him on a certain situation, this, and that, and he just, nah, bro, you lying, bro, you not gonna do it, bro. Nah, I don't believe you, bro. You ain't, nah, them not facts. You gonna feel play. You gonna like, bro, look at my track record, my track record with you. Like, when have I ever not came through for you? Right? That's why when you go to let me grab that real quick. In the Apocrypha, Sirach 2 and 10. Look at the generation of old and see that ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken, or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Right? It's no examples of the Lord doing that. So that's why, why not have faith in him? If he always, show up, right? If he always, show up for the men of the Lord and never forsake them that believe in him, why not add that belief and that faith in him? It's just, for he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, right? That he exists, because that's what his name means, Yahweh, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So you got to know that the Lord will give you your rewards, will reward, your righteous acts, right? Which we are righteous through Yahweh Shai, of course, right? Because we are not going to be righteous through the law, but by our faith in Yahweh Shai and keeping the laws in faith, right, to the best of our ability. All right, but you gotta have it in your mind that the Lord will reward you for making certain sacrifices, right? And it's not gonna be, instant all the time, because the Lord could do it instantly, give you a certain reward, a certain spiritual gift, or bless you in a certain situation. Right? Sometimes it'll take a minute, right? But ultimately, we know that the ultimate reward is gonna be the kingdom of heaven, right? 'Cause that's gonna trump everything. All right. It says by faith, Noah being warned of the most high things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark, right? It says prepared an ark to the saving of his house. So Noah had the fear of the Most High from the thing that the Most High told him, like, hey, look, I'm about to flood the earth, bro. So, hey, you need to build this ark so I can save you and your family, so y'all can be protected from this. And Noah's like, shit, man, I'm about to do whatever I got to do to not have to go through that, right? Because of the fear of the Lord, right? So why he did what he did? Through faith and the fear in the Lord. So we gotta have these same type of mindsets because we are being warned, all right, through the Spirit. When we're reading these scriptures and getting the understanding of these things and what's going to happen, we're being warned. So this is the preparation stages, right? We are spiritually building the ark. And it's truth, but, the deliverance is going to come through the chariots in these times, right? Because it's going to be a flood of fire, right? But we are spiritually building right now, right? And it's truth. Because, hey, if your foundation ain't right in the times to come, you ain't finished the building or not even started, right? For whatever reason, hey, it's gonna be on you, all of us, right? It says, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. So he said he condemned the world. All off of what the Most High told him, like, man, look, I ain't even worried about none of this that y'all got going on. Because it spoke about them, marrying and giving in the marriage and doing this and that. Bro, y'all got it, bro. Y'all got it. Because I know what's coming. All right. It says, by faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. All right. So the Most High told him, hey, man, you need to leave up out of your father's house. And you need to come this way. Right? Because it was meant for his seed, the Israelites, right, to inherit the land of Canaan. But he ain't know about none of that. Right? He just had faith in the Most High. He didn't know where he was going. This is not the Most High told him, hey, look, just leave, bro. So by faith he sojourned in the land of promise in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacle with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. So imagine just leaving your family like that. Like the Lord just telling you, hey, look, just come this way, separate from them. Because his father was an idol worshiper. Right? So he said, come this way and I'm gonna give you this and that. You see, you're gonna be as the sand of the sea and as the stars. So this is all Abraham is going off of. That faith in what the Lord told him. He had a why and the reason why he was doing certain things. Right? It says, for he looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is the Most High, through faith. So that was that faith of what the Lord told him. Right? Through faith, also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised, right? Because she was at a certain age to where it's like, bro, it's a wrap for you. You ain't having no kids, right? The body get to a certain age to where ain't no more reproduction. Right? It's that's over with. Right? That's why it's important to do it right in your younger years. You see, but hey, it was a wrap, right, for Abraham and Sarah. right? But it's gonna go into it. They had that faith, and the Lord brought forth, you know, the Israelites, right, ultimately, right, from this union. And you say, what the Israelites is as the sand of the sea. Look how many Israelites it is today. It says, therefore sprang there even the one in him as good as dead. Talking about Abraham. Because he was up there in age, and it's like, bro, you didn't really have no kids. Like, all that shut down. But look, it says that so many as the stars of the sky and the multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore, innumerable. Right? But it started with faith. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. Right? So they didn't receive the promises in that time, right? But they seen them afar off. So in their mindset, they knew what was coming. So it's like, shit, bro, I'm doing this for something greater, right? I got a reason to why I'm doing this. They said they were persuaded of them. Hey, what does the scripture say? Let every man be fully persuaded in their own mind. Right? So you gotta be persuaded for the promises that are to come, to go through and to do what all we have to do today. It says confess that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth, right? Because a stranger and a pilgrim is somebody that's basically moving around. They don't really have no set place, no home, right? It's just moving around, right? So he said they were strangers and pilgrims, meaning, hey, look, this shit temporary, right? All this is temporary. You see, we know what's coming. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from which they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is in heavenly, whereof the Most High is not ashamed to be called their God, for He had prepared for them a city. So, we all are hoping for the kingdom of heaven, right? Because what in Hebrews, when you go to Hebrews 13, it was like 13. Let me see. Right. And 14, for here we have no continual city, but we seek one to come. So we have no continual city here. Right? I mean, this is temporary. We know that these things are temporary. All right, because this ain't, bro, our land is back in Israel. Right? We were on the other side of the world. Right? But we know that we will get our land back. Right? The Most High will establish us, back in the rulership, back in the power, back in the glory. And that basically whatever we get, whatever we obtain on this side, it's temporary. That's why it says they that buy be as though they had not, they that had wives be as though they had not, or married. Roughly paraphrasing, because I don't want to quote the scripture wrong, right? But it basically said, like, man, like whatever you get, just don't look at it like it's just for the long term, right? Because like I quoted about the they to be as wise be as though they had none. Paul said that, but that's just going into just putting the truth before them. That's it. You see, but I believe because in the apocrypha, that's where that comes from. And I believe that's in Esdras. Right? Be ye as pilgrims in the earth. You see, but I believe it was saying a little something different along the lines. But it's all good. But it says, by faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and that he had and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall see be called. So Abraham was tempted in Genesis the 22nd chapter to sacrifice his only son, begotten son, because we know he had other kids, but this is the chosen son, right? This is the one he really cared about. This is the one that the promises are going to come through. The Most High said, "Hey, look, man, sacrifice it." Right? But he remembered that the Most High said that through this son, your seed is gonna be established and come, through him, right? So it says the content that the Most High was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. So he said, man, look, the Most High got to raise him up from the dead because the Most High promised me this. He promised me this. So he had faith in what the Most High told him. So that's why he did what he did. Because he's like, man, look, the Most High, he got to come through on his word. Right? And ain't nobody ever been resurrected from the dead during these times. Like, ain't nobody that was unseen. But he said, look, the Most High going to do it. You see, faith is the substance of things not seen. All right? It says, by faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed both the son of Joseph in worship, leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Right? So he decided, man, look, I'm going to suffer with my people than to be, this great man in Egypt, right? All this glory, all this money, you see, gold, this and that. I got all of it. But look at my people, they suffering. I'd rather go through that, bro, than to enjoy this shit, which is temporary. Right? Fuck this. That's faith. Right? It says, esteeming the reproach of Yahweh greater riches than the treasures of Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. So this was on his mind. This is why he did it. NLT, he thought it was better to suffer for the sake of Yahweh than to own the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking ahead to his great reward. You see? Focus ahead, looking at the picture of the long run. That's what we in it for, right? Don't stop really just focusing on instant gratification. It's more about delayed gratification, because it doesn't come quick, right? Like I said, the Lord can bless you in certain situations, but sometimes it takes longer, for the Lord to, to do things, right? Because He got to do it on His time. Right? So you got to be patient, but ultimately we wait for the kingdom. That's what all this work that we putting in is for. It's like when you go to the gym, constantly working out. You're doing your push-ups, your pull-ups. You bench pressing, you're doing your squats, right? That first day you going there, bro, you not finna be jacked up. You ain't finna be some swole dude, right? You ain't finna be looking right. Your ass not finna be on point from one day in the gym. Come on, bro. It ain't no instant gratification, right? But you keep doing that over and over and over and over again. What eventually the results are going to come. It says, by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured at seeing him who is invisible. So he didn't care about Pharaoh, man. He was doing what the Lord said to do. It says, by faith that Moses left the land of Egypt, not fearing the king's anger. He kept right on going because he kept his eyes on the one who is invisible, right? So a king that he can see, then he didn't fear because he was believing on someone he didn't even see, right? Which was the Most High. Through faith, he kept the Passover and sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn to touch them. So the Most High warned him and gave him a warning, saying, look, keep this. Do this ordinance right here. Right, do it this way. Get into the specific, the technicalities on how to keep the Passover to avoid a certain judgment that he was going to bring upon the Egyptians. Right? The death of the firstborn. Right? So through faith, he listened to the Lord. That was his driving force and why he did what he did. By faith, they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians are saying to do were drowned. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days. By faith, the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, which he had received the spies with peace. And what shall I more say? For the time will fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, and of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets. So he said, man, look, man, we can be talking all day on this topic, bro. We got many examples. I can go on and on, bro. Shit. All right. It says, who through faith subdued kingdoms. Bro, it's going to give you a list, man, of things they did and things that they went through. wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens, right? Which is going into, alien basically just mean, stranger, or it can go into the heathen. Right? They weren't actually fighting against aliens. People bugged out like that, bro. You gotta think, you gotta, say these things, right? Because somebody that haven't been watching videos or even know what the word alien mean or any of these things, they were like, God damn, bro, they were fighting aliens back then. God damn, they make a doctrine out of it, right? It says women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance that they might obtain a better resurrection. Right? People went through torturous, situations. Right? Prophets went through things. What do you mean not accepting deliverance? Meaning not accepting basically what the torturer was recommending. Because when you go to the book of Maccabees, what the second Maccabees, the 7th chapter, Antiochus Epiphanes was telling him, hey man, eat this pork, man. Do this, do that. Right? And they said, no, we just gonna die. That's what's not accepting deliverance mean, because they could have been delivered from that situation if they obeyed the commandment, right, of Antiochus Epiphanes, or Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, if they would have obeyed Nebuchadnezzar's command to worship that image, right? They would have been delivered from that situation. But it says not accepting deliverance that they might obtain a better resurrection. All right, man, we coming back and we gonna be in glory. Fuck you. And others had trials of cruel mockings and scourges, going through things, bro. It says had a trial of cruel mockings and scourges. Hey, look at the example of Yahushua and the things that he went through with his own people, spitting in his face, hitting him, putting a crown of thorns. Those are cruel mockings. They mocked him, all right, and they scourged him. Give him over bonds and imprisonment, right? Being in prison, being locked up, right? For what? All of this is for the word, is for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. The things that they endured, they were stoned, right? Goes into Paul being stoned, right? He got stoned, seen the third heaven, the spiritual realm, the Most High in the spirit, right back to his body, and he went right back to the city where he was stoned at, because he had faith, bro. He had faith, bro. They were son of son, they were tempted. They were slain with a sword. They wandered about in sheepskin and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. Now let's see what that says, right? What that means, whom the world was not worthy. NLT, they were too good for this world. And what about Enoch? Right? He was translated because he pleased the Most High. He was too good for this world. And the elect are going to be too good for this world. And that's why they're going to be taken up in chariots. Right? Because they're going to please the Lord and be translated. And that's what we hope to be of that number. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and in caves of the earth. And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise, right? Because it was not time yet, right? The Most High provided some better thing for us that they without us should not be made perfect, right? So things still had to happen. The Most High's prophecies had to come to pass, right? But at the end, all of these prophets, all of these men that suffered these things are going to inherit these things, because the Most High is going to bring them back, right? If they ain't already here today, because it said the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets, they're going to get it in these times, right? Because we in the last days. Hebrews 12:1, wherefore seeing we also are compassed about with so a great cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside, right? The great cloud of witnesses were the men we just read about. You see all of the things, that they went through, all of the things, the type of faith that they had, right? We got a great cloud of witnesses, man. We can go into many accounts. That's why I say, man, look, time will fail us. So we got a lot of things that we can be getting into and reading and looking at and building up our faith. All right. Let's lay aside every weight and the sin which does easily beset us, because we know what we're trying to accomplish. So you gotta make them sacrifices, right? You gotta better yourself, Right? And try to improve, each and every day, right? Improve on your weaknesses. And let us run with patience the race that is set before us, right? And having that great patience, man. Right? Even like in a marathon. That's marathons. It's not quick, hey, bro. You gotta endure. Like it's an endurance thing. That man, that should take time. All right. So hey, you gotta be you gotta be on point. Your breathing gotta be right. You gotta be in shape. It's like so we running with patience in this thing. It's a thing of endurance. Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, because this is the ultimate example, right? This is who we got our faith from. You see, he's gonna perfect it, right? Because he's the ultimate example of what to be. Who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, right? It sat down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High. What was his why? The joy that was set before him. What was promised unto him? To be king over everything, right? To receive all of the things that are going to come, right? All the things that he's going to be blessed with. Everything put in his possession, receiving all of the power, right? Glory, honor, status, all right? Whatever he went to is like, man, hey, man, look, bro, it is what it is. Got to be done. Because I know what I'm trying to get. So when you're going through your hell, you got to like, man, it's whatever, bro. I know what I'm trying to get, man. I know, man, all this shit ain't going to matter, bro. It's like the things that we go through, you can't really just give that much power unto it. Because, hey, your why and your faith should be enough, right, to make that situation like feel like it ain't, man. All right, it is what it is, bro. All right, you gotta roll with the punches. And every situation ain't gonna be the same situation. Some situations are gonna be greater. All right, it's gonna have, more of a toll on your mental and on your emotions. But your why should be able to pick you up out of that. And it ain't gonna be easy all the time. It ain't gonna be easy. And it is not supposed to. So get that out your mind. Like if you ever think like that, it's not supposed to be easy. Anything great that's supposed to be achieved, right? Greatness does not come with ease. Greatness comes through the sufferings, right? The time that you was down, the time that you ain't had nothing, the time that you lacked, right? The times you suffered and went through tribulation. Because that's going to make greatness because you overcame. Right? So, really, man, that's really the lesson. I hope this was edifying. All right. With that, I'm going to say shalom.